you for waking up with Happy Ass, where we come together to grow mind, body, and spirit, so we can in turn go out and make the world a brighter and sweeter place for others. Well, as you know, we're doing the podcast a little differently now. We're doing it on a weekly basis. I'm still adjusting to that, y'all. I am not lying. I have really had a time with it. And we may talk about that later on today, because I think I finally figured out why I'm struggling not doing this live. I think I figured it out. But I want to talk about something today that kind of happened because of the death of a friend. And I'm just going to read you my journal entry that I wrote today. And then we're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you what that kind of sparked in me today. Chris Uhas died last night, Lisa's husband. His death has made me think about relationships and the fact that I need to be more mindful and more wholehearted in my relationships. I have used the busy and responsibility excuse to keep from going deep with others. I am wide, but I'm not very deep. Or do I compare what I see others doing and think I'm doing it wrong? Am I applying the same judgment to my relationships that I do with everything else, like not being able to do my podcast like I used to? And I want to live the life that was meant authentically for me. God, help me find it. I keep hearing your new life will cost you your old one. Your new life will cost you your old one. And does it cost me far more if I don't let go of the old life? I think it does. I think it will. And then I've thought about this part of the verse in Ephesians. To be made new in the attitude of your minds. Angie wrote the sweetest tribute to Chris and her memories when they were young. I don't have many memories of when I was young. So that's what I wrote today in my journal, along with writing my affirmations and writing my gratitudes. And one of the things that I did actually today after that was I scratched out one of my affirmations because it wasn't authentic. It wasn't authentic to me. And that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about what do I need to do to have a more authentic life? What do I need to let go of? And I know that I hear so much talk about relationships, and I'm being honest with you, I think that I love people, don't get me wrong. I love people. I have a heart for people. I have a heart of compassion, all those things. But I haven't really gone deep in my relationships with people. I will tell you what I want you to know. I'll be how maybe sometimes you want me to be. But I'm not digging deep. And I read something about digging deep in, this book is amazing, y'all. Brené Brown. If you can't see it if you're on the just the audio, but it's the Gifts of Imperfection. Brené Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection. And that was a lot of imperfection right there. We'll be trying to say that, wasn't it? And we won't even block it out. It's going to stay right in there. So this is what she said. She says, here's what I found. People who live wholeheartedly do indeed dig deep. They just do it in a different way. When they're exhausted and overwhelmed, they get deliberate in their thoughts and behaviors through prayer, meditation, or simply setting their intentions, inspired to make new and different choices, and going, they take action. Well, for me, in my friendships and my relationships, I feel like I'm really good at being the listener and listening to what you have to say and maybe offering some sage wisdom, or if you want it or not. But I'm not good at totally revealing who I am. I'm almost better at revealing who I am on this podcast, especially when I did it on a daily basis. When I did it on a daily basis and it was live, I didn't have an opportunity to judge everything I was saying. I didn't have an opportunity to, after I was finished, going, oh man, did I say that just right? Did I offend somebody? Did I do all these things going through my head? Y'all, I am now down to 4 that I have recorded now that I don't know that they'll see the light of day. Actually, I'm going to talk about it in just a little bit, so we'll see. But I know that being authentic is what I really want to do with my life. I really want to be authentic. And reading that, all the beautiful things that Angie said about our friend Chris and all the memories she had and the thoughts she had, it was obvious to me that she has dug deep to have relationships that continue and matter, and she's given attention to them. For so many years, I was such a workaholic, that if it didn't fit into my work life, it didn't fit into my achieving, we used to tease and said that in order for you to see me, you had to work with me or volunteer with me. And I said it in jest, and I said it with a funny tone and a ha ha ha, but you know what? That's kind of sad. That's really sad. You know, with my sweet friend Jody, I have to be intentional. Now, she does volunteer with me some, but she doesn't work with me. So I have to be very intentional about carving out time for us to spend together. And if I'm not careful, and it happens a lot, work takes over. Everything else takes over, and I'm not attending to being authentic. So I want to tell you a few things that I'm really aware of right now. I'm really aware of time. And I say this a lot, and I don't say this to complain about being 65. I say this to say that I'm 65. Hallelujah, I'm 65. I've lived 65 amazing years filled with all kinds of challenges and confusion and sometimes deprivation and sometimes triumph. But I know that it's all a season. I know that things come to pass, good and bad. But I also know this, that if I really pay attention to myself, mind, body, and spirit, the age I'm at right now can be the best age ever. And I am aware of time so that I don't want to waste my time. And I really want to be authentic, y'all. I want to be so authentic. And these are things I'm getting right. I'm exercising like I'm supposed to. I'm real proud of myself for that. I exercise no matter what. It's important to me to keep my health strong. I have a great attitude. Y'all, you can beat me with a lot of things, but you cannot beat me with attitude and work ethic. In fact, I kind of a little, not a tiff, but somebody said something today that set me the wrong way because it was insinuating that I wasn't working hard enough. And I was telling my friends, I said, listen, you can accuse me of a lot of things, but not working hard enough is not one of being haphazard, scatterbrained, goofy, flighty, all those things, but not hardworking. So I get all that stuff right. But I want to be honest with you. You know what I think I've got in the area of authenticity? This is going to shock you. I think I'm like a B-. I think I've got a lot of work to do. I think if we would all be honest with ourselves, we all have got a lot of work to do. I think I'm still too concerned about what other people think. That doesn't mean I want to be that kind of person that says, I don't care what somebody, I would never be that kind of person. But I don't want to be with other people's opinions of me to stop the thing that God has put in front of me to do, that I know is mine to do and is my purpose. I can't let that stop me. I can't let the opinions of others keep me from my great purpose. You know, I think the things that are super important to me are my faith, my family, and my purpose, you know? So I want to just kind of tell you a few things that I'm thinking about and some things I wrote down for me to think about, and maybe you could write down some things for you to think about. You know, I say I talk all the time and about authenticity. I talk about the fact that I really admire people who are authentic. I mean, I love people like that, I do. But what I really want to think about is, if I'm not authentic, I am depriving myself and others of the one gift that God's given me, that He's given me to put out into the world. And I don't want to do that. And I know you don't either. So these are some things that I wrote down that I want to think about today. I want to become better in my relationships. I want to be the kind of person like Angie, he could write a beautiful long dissertation about somebody going from our childhood to now and remembering things of value. Part of my story is, and we've talked about it before, is that I grew up in an extremely dysfunctional home where I just felt like it was survival. I was just trying to survive in the midst of alcoholism. I was embarrassed. So simple, everyday things just didn't happen for me. I was busy thinking about survival. And that's not my life now. I'm not trying to just merely survive. I'm trying to thrive. And so I think we have habits in our lives that serve us well in the time, but no longer serve us. So we have to look at it. I want to truly love people where they are. Where they are. Not where I think they should be. Not their improved version of themselves, but where they are. Because I've got to remember that we look at people, they're at the finish line, but perhaps they're at the starting line. And God is the director of their lives, not me. I don't know what lessons they gotta have to get them to where they're going. I'm sure glad people didn't block all my lessons because it's gotten me here. 3, and this is one of my affirmations. I want to really narrow down where I need to spend my time and my energy. I really want to do that. I was at a meeting the other day. I won't tell you what meeting I was at because it was a very well-run meeting. It was awesome, but it really wasn't authentic to where I need to be right now. Somebody else needs to go to that meeting, not me. It doesn't fit in the most important things for me at this time. Number 4, I want to become the most authentic version of me because in that is the reason I am here. I just don't think I can be exactly who God wants me to be and fulfill the dreams and the wishes and the desires of His heart and my heart if I'm not the most authentic version of me. And you would think that was easy. I love it. I saw and if I've said this before on my podcast, forgive me. I think it's cool, so I'm going to say it again. I was in the bathroom at the kids' pediatrician, and on the sign it said, breastfeeding is natural, but not always easy. And I went, bam, is that not true? Being authentic is natural, but not always easy. I think about nature. This just popped in my head. Human beings, I think, are the only living creatures who have a problem being authentic. Animals don't have a problem being authentic. They don't know any better. They just are who God and nature designed them to be. We humans start juking and jiving and becoming the me that other people want us to be. And so I want to think about that. Number 6, I want to truly let go of what other people think of me. But it really is true because what people think of you is filtered through all the things that they're doing in their life, all the things that they want to do. The other one is I want to live a life of kindness and compassion, finding the best in humanity. It's really easy to point out what people are doing wrong. It's really easy to be a critic. But it is not always easy to dig deep and look inside a human being to find the best in them. We have to remember that people are a product of their environments and the product of a lot of things that they've said to themselves, that people have said to them. And that's one of the reasons I do this podcast. I want all of us happy asses to be intentional and mindful of how we're treating our fellow man and how we're treating ourselves so we can make this world a brighter and sweeter place to live for others. The other one is this is a hard one for me, y'all. And it's kind of funny because my husband always said I was very vulnerable about sharing my feelings and my emotions, and I am to a certain point. But I want to become more vulnerable and go deep with my close friends. Notice I said my close friends. I don't think you need to be vulnerable with everybody. I don't think you need to air your whole life for the world, although maybe you think I do that here with y'all, because I try to share with all of my happy ass audience things that have helped me grow and the things that I'm still struggling with that I think will make me a better person doing what God intended me to do. And the very last one, and this is really the whole thing, y'all, I want to live a wholehearted life. And I don't think I can live a wholehearted life without being truly authentic. And being truly authentic for me means that I've got to not just figure out what I need to do, but I need to figure out what I don't need to do anymore. There's things that I need to drop from my life. You know, I had a really, really deep conversation with Jim Berg the other day, and we were talking about how I was feeling about counting my macros, doing my fitness journey and stuff like that. Because y'all, I have been messing with that same last 5 pounds now for a long time. And, you know, so again, you'll see our podcast when we talk about this, about the fact that so much of what she and I talk about is not even macros or calories or weightlifting. It is the stuff that's underneath that. It's what are the things that make you feel inadequate? What are the things that make you hard on yourself? All those things. And for whatever reason, I'm able sometimes to go deep with her because I have a deep desire to become better. But I sometimes don't do that with my friends. So that's one of the things I want to do. I want to be a person like Angie who can write this beautiful dissertation because I've paid attention and I'm intentional about my relationships. That's so important to me. Well, y'all, I've loved this time with you today, and I feel like this one might make the light of day. And I'm going to talk to Ashley about all the ones that didn't make the light of day. But you know what we got to do? We've got to thank our sponsors. We've got to thank our sponsors. And I usually do that in the middle of the podcast, but, you know, I was just kind of going with it today. But our sponsors are amazing, y'all. And they're the reason I get to do this because, believe it or not, there's expenses involved in a podcast, more than you can imagine. And for the longest time, I just did it, you know. So the first one on board is my precious partners and people at Beachy Beach Real Estate. They believe in what I'm doing. They believe that how I'm living my life right here is important for business. It's important that my life speaks to who I am. So thank you, Beachy Beach, for loving me, believing in me, and promoting this podcast. My sweet friend, Kitty Stewart of the Dream Team powered by Edge. She's a mortgage broker, so she's able to give you all kinds of options. She doesn't have just one bank she can draw from. She has, I think it's like 130 plus different places. That's crazy, y'all. So you'll see their information in the show notes, and they'll be out there all over my social media. So please use these people that trust and believe in me. And my sweet friends at Bay Tax. My friend Brian at Bay Tax, Brian Yormack. Y'all, we've already established this, and I'm not great with money. I know how to make it, know how to spend it, not real smart with in between. But guess what? Bay Tax has helped me how to do right with in between by teaching me all kinds of tax strategies that you can use too. So please utilize these precious people who make this possible. Thank you so much to those that love and watch this podcast. I'm going to end our time together today by leaving you with an affirmation. You know, I believe wholeheartedly in affirmations, what we say to ourselves, what we say to others. Our words have power. Y'all, the very words is what started our beautiful universe. So let's dig into that. My new life. Remember I said I'm going to have to leave my old life to have my new life. My new life. My new life is built on my desire to grow in knowledge and wisdom and to apply those to my life. Learning from the old, leaning into the new. I desire for authenticity over acceptance. I'm going to say that one again. It's so important. I desire for authenticity over acceptance. I am all grace and progress, hope and resilience. I want to be courageous so that others can do the same. And so it is. Y'all, thank you so much for loving me and being here with us today. And I cannot wait to see y'all again. Be sweet, y'all. Bye.